So guys, it looks like Mr. Dave Ramsey himself may have been right when he said this.
With housing prices being high, no honey, housing prices just are. They're not high. They're high compared to yesterday. They're low compared to tomorrow. They're not coming back down. When you say they're high, it's almost as if you think they might come back down. They're not coming down. In 60 years, 70 years, house prices have gone down one time temporarily in 2008, and they shot back up. If you're going to sit around and wait on one time in 60 or 70 years to happen, you're never getting a house.
So guys, in just a few minutes, I'm going to take what he said and we're going to dive into the analytics on redfin.com so you guys can follow along here in just a moment. We're going to talk about the median sales prices, what the trends are like, the new listing prices, everything that kind of goes into a conclusion or just a brief summary as to what's happening here in the market. But real quick, first, I just wanted to say that if you are looking for a channel that goes over everything about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate anywhere on the Florida East Coast, make sure to like this video, tap that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. Also, I am a realtor here on the East Coast of Florida and would love to help you find your new Florida dream home. So if that's the case for you, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email because I promise that I will have your back when making that move over here to the Florida East Coast. All right, guys, so now it's time to go ahead and jump into the details about what Mr. Ramsey himself was saying about these prices are not going down, they just are. This has kind of been a thing that I've been playing in my head. I'm a little bit confused as well. I was honestly pretty hopeful. I've got some friends that are looking to get into their first house. And at the time, whenever they first were starting to save up for their down payment, it was affordable at that time. Now we're having raising interest rates. We're having raising insurance prices. We have a hurricane on the way. By the time this video drops, the hurricane's going to already hit and we're going to know the damage and the results of all that.
You're going to have a lot of power lines down, but even here in the Tampa Bay area, there is going to be power outages, so just prepare for that.
But right now when I'm recording, it is the day before this, I don't even remember the name of the hurricane. It's like kind of a weird name that they're doing, but it's about to hit the panhandle of Florida. Definitely something to consider there with the insurance prices. I don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on the state of Florida and the state of insurance that we have here with these 8 to 12 foot storm surges that we're supposed to see there near kind of the panhandle area. And, I hope that it doesn't, take too much of a hit, and I hope everyone's safe there too. So moving on with that, I did want to say though that I always kind of thought that the interest rates, as the interest rates went up, the housing prices would fall roughly 3 to 6 months afterwards. But what we're seeing actually is that the shortage of inventory that we're having here in the state of Florida is keeping the prices up, and it's keeping the prices up everywhere because right now, whenever you go on redfin.com and you look at the metro, so all the major metro areas, those prices of 2023 are starting to creep right back up again after that little dip that we had earlier on this year. I'm going to dive into the laptop, which is right here in front of me. We're going to switch over to where I'm live on the screen, and we're going to look at these data points together. We're going to do 3 different counties because I cover Indian River County, where I am. I also cover Brevard County, which is north of us, and also St. Lucie County, south of us, which is Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie, and some Jensen Beach and other places there too. We're going to go ahead and look at those numbers together live. I haven't checked them out yet, so this is going to be just kind of live feedback as to what I'm seeing. I'm going to try to narrate what I see as I go along. Alrighty guys, so we are here. We're at the Redfin Data Center here. And so all you have to do is just go on Google, type in Redfin Data Center, go ahead and hit the first link. And it should take you to this. So you just scroll on down, and this is the graph that we're going to be using for the rest of this video. So real quick, just what I wanted to point out though, is that the new listings for all of the Redfin metro areas, which is a ton of different places. So think of any metro area that you possibly could here in Florida. It's going to be places like Miami, Tampa, and Orlando, and Jacksonville, those sort of things. Those are all going to be metros. This is just a combination of all those together. You can see that our 2023 numbers is far less than 2022 numbers in black. So that's the main thing right here. So the latest data point we have is negative 16.5, which is keeping these housing prices down because we are not overbuilt by any means, not yet. First of all, let's go ahead and change this to county. I'm going to go ahead and type in Indian River County here. And we're going to start off with my hometown. So here we are at Indian River County, and we're just going to kind of click these tabs as we go. There's going to be some that I skip because they're not really too important, but I do want to go over the majority of them. So here, no difference, or I shouldn't say no difference, because we have a lot bigger of a spread in Indian River County with the shortage of new listings that are hitting the market. So we did have more in the beginning of the year, but now we're sitting at negative 28.2%. So that is significantly less than where we were at the same time last year, helping keeping those prices steady and also raising quite a bit actually compared to last year's numbers. And we're going to see that here as well. Going on to pending sales, I want you to think about it this way. So we're at negative 28.2% of new listings, but the number of pending sales that we have, that means a lot more of this inventory is moving. The inventory that we do have on the market is moving a lot quicker because we only have a negative 12.2% difference on the pending sales compared to negative 28.2%. So I always want you to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I want you to keep the 28.2% less new listings are on the market right now in Indian River County. Off the market in 2 weeks, it's another important one there. So we are just about dead even. You can see those lines. It was a lot less here in 2023, but then now, of course, things are heating right back up. We crossed lines there, went above, and then we're also going back to another break-even point right here. Homes sold. Look at that. Almost dead even. So negative 6.7, but the last data point had us actually increased by, let's see here, 1.4%. So think to yourself, again, negative 28.2% less listings, yet the homes sold are just about that even. We can go ahead and tap this new listing median price. We are sitting right around 400,100. Whenever last year we were at 378,794. So remember, this is the median new listing price, not the average. The average in Indian River County is upwards almost $1 million because we have a lot of outliers on the island, 32963, where properties sell for way in excess of $1 million. And we have a lot of new construction things going on the beach as well that are bringing 3, 5, 10 million plus. Let's go ahead and do the median sales price and check this out, guys. So we are just negative 2% of the median sales price as to where we were last year, but we were over that for the majority of the year. So we're actually kind of falling, but it seems like the 2022 graph was starting to kind of dip and do some, weird, crazy things at this time too. So that's not too surprising that we do have a negative 2% on the change for the median sales price coming on. So let's just see if there's anything else here. Price drops would be a good one too. Let's go ahead and do this. Price drops. All right. So in 2023, everyone thought that the world was falling and they wanted to go ahead and offload their property. So we were seeing price drops as high as, 6% there, which was a year over year difference of 3.8%. Now things are changing and the recent data points are bringing our price drops actually less than where we were at this point in time last year. So something to consider there. And since I don't want to make this video too long, let's go ahead and jump and change the county. So let's skip on over and let's go to Brevard. All right. So we're here at Brevard County. It's going to be a similar story because we are, it's not too far away from each other. These are going to be very similar markets. So we have a negative 24.2% difference in the new listings. Pending sales, however, only 11% difference. So look at that spread. Off market in 2 weeks. We're about dead even, less than 1% difference there too. So that's how long it takes for the house to, once it's off the market or offloaded, pending within 2 weeks, which is, the sign of a very hot market whenever we have pending or off market in 2 weeks. Home sold, same thing. Negative 24% difference in the new listings compared to negative 7.5. So that's a big spread there too. New listing median price, way higher, 375,759, which is a 5% difference, increase higher than what we were last year, which was 357 versus 375. Median sales price, still ticking higher over 1%. So 363. Versus a 359. And let's go ahead and go to the price drops. There they are. Price drops again went below. So remember, this is good, or it's a sign of a strong market whenever this line dips below last year's numbers. So we were way above again, the point to where we were 6.2%, which is 4.6 more than last year. Now we are 5.6. Which is 1%, just roughly 1% less than where we were at this time last year. So guys, that wraps it up for Brevard County. Let's go ahead and drop on down to St. Lucie County now. All right, St. Lucie County, sticking with the same theme, staying in the 20s, the negative 20s here for the new listings. Pending sales, wow, look at this. We are going actually up in pending sales. So we have 20% less new listings, but pending sales are higher at 192 pending sales, which is an increase of 5.5% year over year. That is insane. St. Lucie County is absolutely taken off. Port St. Lucie, the Traditions area, Port St. Lucie West, they are really starting to take off in popularity. They opened up the floodgates, and people are not holding back from moving there. Also, we're getting a lot of people moving from South Florida to St. Lucie County too. So that's one thing that I've noticed. Whenever you're looking into Fort Lauderdale, Miami, we're seeing a lot of phone calls coming from that area, creeping their way up north and trying to get away from the overcrowded South Florida area that they have there too. St. Lucie County is probably one of the most popular choices because it is more populated. There's a lot more going on, a lot more commercial that caters to their sort of lifestyle down in South Florida, while Vero Beach and Sebastian, and then even the Melbourne and Palm Bay area are a lot more dialed down, a lot more tame. So unless you're going from one polar opposite to the next, if you want to keep that familiarity, then you go to St. Lucie County, which is why we're seeing what we are seeing. Off market in 2 weeks. Doesn't surprise me there too that we are higher, almost 10% higher, so at 8.8, with 26.3% of the market being taken off the market within 2 weeks. So something very cool to see there. Homes sold, we're at negative 6.8%, or 150 houses sold versus 161. So again, not a very big difference whenever you're talking negative 20 versus negative 6.8. New listing median price. Wow, look at this. So it's gone up 4.28% at 408,000, making Any River County more affordable slightly. Remember, Any River County also has slightly less property taxes as well. But 391 versus 408. Let's compare that to the median sales price. So this is after it's closed. 388 versus 382. So we are trending upwards, while if you remember, Any River County was down 2%. So we have a 2% increase here in St. Lucie County. Let's go to price drops. Where did I go? I missed them. Okay, here we go. Price drops. Again, we see that blue line starting way above and then working their way down to be below the line. So we're at negative 2.1%, or 4.7 of the active listings having price drops. Something to look at there. So guys, there you have it. The data does not lie. It turns out Mr. Ramsey was right, and all those doom and gloom, the sky is falling, those sort of realtors that were making their videos are not really even realtors. Like, what's the guy that walks around, does the selfies in Miami and talks about how everything is falling apart and how they're going to lose their butt on everything? Anyways, like Michael something. And then we have the Reventure Consulting, all those guys out there that were just talking about how the end of the world was coming. They're doing it for clicks. They're doing it for views. Maybe they did decide, or they did have it in their heads that, that this was really going to happen, but no one really knows. No one has a crystal ball. And that's really the moral of the story, that, Dave was right. He said that prices are prices. They're not high. The unfortunate thing is that the affordability of buying a home is just so low. I mean, I use the example all the time where I have a listing down in Fort Pierce, right around $355,000. We have a lot of new families that are going to visit this house. So they are all FHA, which means they're only putting about 3.5% down, bringing their mortgage to roughly $3,000 a month, give or take, and then increase that whenever you have the property insurance increases and everything else like that. So that is just something that you can't. It's hard because FHA, they have to use these loans because they're a little bit more forgiving on what their debt to income ratio will be. So FHA lets you raise your debt to income. So they're spending more than half of their take home pay on this mortgage, and that's just how a lot of people have to start out. That's how a lot of people have to go ahead and get into their first property, into their first home. So there's one side of the spectrum where you have that, where it's really hurting first-time home buyers, and it's kind of making Florida how it used to be affordable in the past. It's not so anymore, and a lot of people have to be stretching their budget by quite a bit, making a lot more money in order to just afford a basic house. This is a 3.2, less than 2,000 square feet in a gated neighborhood. Just to feel safe, they have to spend nearly $3,000 to do so a month, and that's before property taxes increase and before everything else happens that happens after you sell a home. So just a quick little kind of update with that too is whenever you buy a house, whatever the property taxes are, so I have a listing where it's $800 a year. Guess what? It's not going to be $800 for that new buyer after about a year or so when it gets reassessed, because that's homestead exemption that's been in effect for many, many years for that first home buyer. So they have that cap at 3%. That $800 is what they've been paying. Whenever they move, that property gets reassessed, and then now they're paying $3,000, $4,000 a year, or whatever it may be from that point, maybe even higher. Same thing with property insurance. they kind of get grandfathered in with a price. Sure, we have increases, but a lot of the times whenever you lock it in low, the increases aren't that much. But whenever you get a new property or you move into a new home, those go up. So these are things that happen afterwards. You're pre-qualified based on the numbers that exist now, but then within a year, those numbers can change drastically. And then all of a sudden, when you were stretching your budget before, now you're really house poor. But it's not changing the fact that we have another side where people are moving. They retired. They have a lot of equity in their home. They're selling it from up north. They're selling it from the Midwest, selling their homes for top dollar and moving to Florida and paying cash for it. That's what's driving these prices up. Also, a lot of people are going with new construction too. I was just talking with another client. Kim, thank you so much for your insight on that too. You were telling me that it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I tend to agree to buy a resale home. A used home is what she calls it, because whenever you take into account all the rehab that you have to do, the remodels that you have to take under, when you're paying just about as much for that house as you would for a new construction home or just to build it, it really doesn't make much sense to go the resale route. It makes a lot more sense to take a new construction home for the same price as what they want for this used home that needs roughly, if it needs a new roof, God forbid, that's 20 grand right off the bat, minus the kitchen remodel, the bathroom remodel, the flooring. You could be talking roughly $100,000 of work that needs to be put into this resale home that's listed at the same price for this new construction home where everything's brand new. You have warranties. Everything's up to the recent code too, which is also going to give you a discount on your property insurance. So don't want to ramble on too long about all this, but it does makes sense, but it doesn't. It depends on where you are, depends on your lifestyle, depends on your views of the world. If you're coming from, up north and you just know that you could sell your property and then move to Florida and it's still cheap compared to your area there, then it does make perfect sense why Florida is going up. So guys, again, if you're looking for a channel that goes over everything about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, or to cover anything like this on the Florida East Coast, make sure to tap that subscribe button and like this video. And also, if you'd like to be represented by me or work with me during that move here to the Florida East Coast, please make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, because I promise that I'll have your back when making that move to the Florida East Coast. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.